I'll go ahead and put this down. We have to still accept the prequels as canon. And for those of you that don't know what canon is what the fuck? Hey, quiet in there, I'm trying to do a movie review! Quiet! You okay? The Force Awakens! The Force Awakens has finally opened. Wow, what a movie. This is going to be a spoiler-free, just kind of a general review of the movie. What I thought, what I liked, what I didn't like. The question that I've seen most online and people that I've talked to is Star Wars The Force Awakens good? Is it a good movie? Short answer to is Star Wars The Force Awakens good? Short answer is yes. The Star Wars The Force Awakens movie is a great movie. Movie, not just a Star Wars movie. It is a great film in its own right. J.J. Abrams was given a monumental task of reinvigorating a franchise. I loved it. It has really different, it has a lot of parallels. You know, The Force Awakens, you kind of feel like they're following this really, really successful formula. And they are. And they're following a formula because it works. It's not that they're ripping off anything that anybody's ever done. They're just following a traditional formula for a good movie. They know that they're taking risks and they're taking certain types of things, but they're playing it close enough to the chest to say, we want to bring people back. We don't want to piss off fans. So enough with that shit. Let's get to the review. The main thing about the Star Wars The Force Awakens, other than the fact that they use this very familiar movie recipe that works, is that it's funny. It's actually a funny movie. It doesn't try to be funny. It is actually funny. There are moments, you know, in every single scene where you're like, it's serious, it's tense, and oh my god, what the hell is going to happen? And then they make you laugh. Like, oh, okay, oh shit, it's still kind of tense. It's a great thrill ride. The acting in this movie is great. It's not just a bunch of shit thrown on a screen and just slamming you in the face. The new characters that we're introduced to, Finn, Rey, Kylo Ren, these new, you know, antagonists and protagonists, they're amazing. They are so good. Finn, you know, he starts out as kind of a guy, you don't really know what to expect from Finn. You know, in the trailers, you see him, he's in a stormtrooper outfit. You see him with a lightsaber, and like, is he a Jedi? Is he a stormtrooper? Is he like, is he like a rebel? Is he a spy? You don't quite know what to make of him. You get introduced to him in a very weird way. You know it's him, but you don't quite know that it's him. You know, so they do really good plot devices and really good, you know, filmmaking to let you know this is the character that we saw in the trailer. That's probably one of the best things about Star Wars The Force Awakens is that they don't just sit there and tell you, and here is Finn, and here is his stormtrooper costume, and here's the reason why he's doing this, blah, 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 blah. You know, I hate that because they're assuming that we're stupid and that we can't connect the dots. I know there's plenty of stupid people out there, but they're not Star Wars fans. You come back to Finn, and he's a really great actor in this movie, but for like the first 15 minutes of this movie, you're not quite sure if you like Finn all that much because it feels like he's overacting and you're kind of just like, ugh, I don't know if I'm going to like this guy. You don't really know what to expect from him, and that kind of continues out throughout the entire movie. But the greatest thing about his character, he's very good at, it's very well acted, and he's just funny. He's funny throughout the entire movie. It works out very nicely. Now, the next character is Rey. Now, she's presented in the trailer as one of the main protagonists of this film. And it plays out very well for her character. First of all, she's a phenomenal actress. And her character was very, very well portrayed, very well acted. And she's unexpected. You know, and the way she is in this movie, you see little plot devices in the movie developed to make you think, oh, she's going to be this way. You know, the stereotypical female character in these movies. And it completely flips. You know, J.J. Abrams does a great job with female characters in these movies because he empowers them. He gives them different types of things to go off and run while still staying true to this very vulnerable, very, very passionate, you know, female form of a character, but empowered, very strong, very, very, very interesting. It makes it very fun to watch. Now, talking about Kylo Ren. When I was watching the trailers, you know, I love the look of Kylo Ren. His helmet that you see in the trailer, it looks like an old Sith relic. Now, going into the film, he was another point for me where I was going to think, he's another weak link. They're just going to parallel him to Darth Vader, or they're going to parallel him to some other character and say he's just going to be a generic character. But he wasn't. Kylo Ren in this movie is so funny. I mean, there are moments where you're just like, oh my god, this is the most evil person in this galaxy after Darth Vader. And they're not trying to make him like Darth Vader. He is on this level of evil. So he is a true, dark side, dark force user. And then they'll counteract that with a very funny element. I love this part in the movie because it would be a spoiler. I'll talk about this in the spoiler review. But there's a moment in the movie where he, is losing control of his emotions because Sith and dark force users, by definition, are passionate. They indulge in their passionate side. And you see that coming through in this character. And then there's a moment where he does something that is just so funny, and I couldn't stop laughing in the theater. The other new character that we're introduced to is BB-8. You think, okay, maybe that's just another device in the movie for them to sell more toys. Because Star Wars, not for nothing, has been historic about making characters specifically so they can sell toys to kids. BB-8 is not just another plot device or not just a cash cow. BB-8 is a crucial part of this story. So the old characters, how do they reintegrate, some of the old original trilogy characters? As we saw in the trailers, you see Han, you see Chewbacca, you see all these different types of characters that from the previous movies, the original trilogy. And they do these characters very well. The actors, Harrison Ford comes back to this franchise, and you can just tell in the movie how he portrays this character that he is having a blast. You can tell that he did not expect to have as much fun playing this character again as he actually did. And he does it very well. He doesn't phone it in at all. He is truly Han Solo in this movie. Another positive about The Force Awakens is that for me, it's one of the things that attracted me to Star Wars from the very beginning. The lightsabers. There are lightsabers in this movie, but we know that. It's not a spoiler. You see Finn with a lightsaber in this trailer. You see Kylo Ren's lightsaber, the King Arthur lightsaber. That was really cool. The way that they look in The Force Awakens, they actually look dangerous. And when the lightsabers are used in this film, I mean, Jesus, they look dangerous just to hold. It looks like I'm going to cut myself with this damn thing if I don't use it correctly. They look real. And for me, that completely sold me on how important it was for them to pay attention to those types of details. Because when you see lightsabers being used in this movie, and this is somewhat of a spoiler, but not really, they look dangerous, and there's actual sparks coming off of the lightsabers. And so when the lightsabers are being used, when they come into contact with something, you can see the physical reaction coming from that lightsaber, and you can see the actors reacting to that. They're like, oh shit, I'm wielding this thing, and they hit something. They're like, oh fuck, what was that? That almost hit me in the face. This looks real. You have people that are holding this thing with caution. They are afraid that they're even engaged in this battle, and they are just like trying not to kill themselves. They're trying not to get killed by anything else, and it just looks really cool. Now we talk about the negatives of The Force Awakens. Now, The Force Awakens is not a perfect movie. There are some flaws. And maybe these are just really my little nitpicky types of things. I can't really get into too many details without spoiling the movie for you, but some of the negatives that I saw were the CG elements. Certain CG characters in the movie, they just bring you back to that prequel-y, that bad taste. It's like if you've ever accidentally drinking sour milk, you're like, oh man, you always remember what that tastes like. You never forget what that felt like, what that tasted like. And so when you see some of the CG elements in this movie, even though you can tell they were trying like hell to not make it feel like the prequels, there are two main CG characters in this movie. There is a character called, Supreme Leader Snoke. When you see him for the first time, you're thinking, I don't know what the hell that looks like. That doesn't even look like a character. And it just didn't feel like motion capture to me. It felt like really bad CGI. You don't see the evil and the contempt that this type of person would have. The CG elements, that was a negative. I'm just like, that really sucks. And some of the other negatives I'll talk about in my spoiler review, because yeah, they'll completely spoil the movie if I talk about them in this review, so I'm not going to touch on those. But yeah, guys, overall, Star Wars The Force Awakens was an awesome movie. I saw it twice. I was not disappointed in the movie. You know, it has its flaws, but the positives and the way that they respect these characters, the way they respect this universe, and the way they respect what they've been doing, it was just top-notch. It was great. I love what they did with the movie. I'm very, very honored that my first movie review on my channel is The Force Awakens. You know, I couldn't have thought of a better movie to do my first review of. You know, I hope you guys kind of enjoyed this. I tried not to give too much away, and it really is difficult. I'm excited to see what they do in the future. If you guys like my reviews, if you don't like my reviews, if you think I'm boring, if you think my voice sounds like shit, hey, leave me a comment. The spoiler review will probably be a whole lot more interesting because I get to spoil the shit out of the entire movie and go into the real negatives, the real positives, and what I really like. Thanks for watching. This is my first real review of any movie that I finally got to go see when it first came out. And so look forward to the spoiler review. Support a new YouTuber. I know that there's like 50,000 YouTube people posting videos to YouTube. Some of them are great, some of them are excellent, some of them are shit, and I click on it and I wish I could take back my click because I didn't really like that video. You guys know what I'm talking about. So enjoy, go see Star Wars The Force Awakens, then come back and watch my spoiler review. Leave some comments, let me know what you guys think. I'll argue you to death. It'll be fun. It'll give me something to do when I'm taking breaks between school and work. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.